Well, things go well, and it is a blast, a
It
big
is.
blast.
So is this, folks. Hey, everybody. I am pleased to welcome back my good friend, Oakland District 2 Council Member, Charlene Wang. Charlene, thank you for coming on. And
Oh,
yeah, it's great to have you back. Yeah,
thanks.
outstanding. And congratulations on the fantastic job you're doing in District 2, representing District 2, and also just being a great new political face, much needed on the Oakland scene. So definitely.
Thank you so much, Zennie. It's good to be back. As you know, I came here twice as a candidate, and now to be back as a to be actually in the seat that I was seeking is just awesome. So
Yeah, it's awesome to see you there. It really is. Yeah.
yeah, this time I wore the blazer. No, kidding.
You wear it well. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, you have an announcement to make that I'm honored that you decided to bring to Zennie62 Media on police recruitment. Right.
Yes, yes. So starting tomorrow, my office and I are kicking off a series of it's a tour just across the city. We're starting this tour up in partnership with the NAACP. Going to be at Axel Gospel Church tomorrow morning, really to talk about the importance of policing and hopefully get some officers or people, young people, able-bodied people interested in enrolling in our police force because we need it. We really do. Our police numbers, our staffing numbers are dangerously low. I don't think we've been this low for. I don't know the last time that Oakland was at the numbers that we were at, but we very much need more police officers. And in the budget that we passed in the springtime, we have funded 5 police academies over the next 2 years, but we need to fill that up. We need to fill up every slot that we possibly can for those police academies to ensure that we're making the most use of the funds that were allocated for these police academies.
If somebody is watching this, they want to become a police officer, what can they do?
Absolutely. So, well, first of all, just some minimum qualifications is you need to be 21 by the time that you graduate from the academy. Do make sure that you've also got your driver's license by the time that you're also graduating. And the key thing is just to go to our Oakland website and submit an application, start the process. There is a written test first, and then there's a physical test. There's going to be an oral examination, excuse me. Then there becomes a background investigation, and then you begin the academy process. But I don't know if you're able to drop a link into the chat, or even I can drop a link into the
Yeah,
chat.
I'm getting the city's website, and it's
Okay, and
my
I have the link readily available. Actually, I just put it in the private chat. If you're able to also distribute that
sure.
to your readership
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I've got this is
or your viewership, not your readership. But you have a
uh,
blog too, so all of the above.
it. Here we go. By the way, there is go to Oakland website, oaklandca.gov./home, right? Yeah,
You got it. Yes, yes.
yeah. And maybe we can take them there now and show them what it looks like, just for you know, the matter of having the proper imagery, as they would say. Here's
Sure.
the,
That sounds good. Let's do it.
yeah, the new website.
Yep.
And so we go to the menu, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And police, how about police employment?
Let's try just the police. I hope that it is prominently on the police website.
Let's find out. Let's find. There's police right there. Let's click on that. Police, non-emergency location, sign up for emergency
There
alert.
we go. Good.
The Oakland police department is hiring. See that, folks, right there. So you click on that, and it reads join the Oakland Police Department, OPD, and the officers, and from sworn officers to professional staff, OPD is always looking for kind, engaged, and committed people to join the department. And you have the sworn officer hiring process. which we'll click on. And first, you have to apply to become an Oakland police officer.
Yep.
And then you can just click the link that reads apply now. And then it goes through the online application process for the job, which for those who are wanting to pay is $7,502.58 monthly, civil service position. So you can apply that link there. Then there's a physical ability test, which has to do with a work sample test, battery, physical ability test, and it reads that OPD offers 2 options for the physical ability agility testing requirement to become a police officer. The OPD physical ability test is offered every month in Oakland. The second option is the work sample test battery. OPD will accept WSTB results from the South Bay Regional Public Safety Transit Consortium. And then the PAT includes cone maze.
The cone maze, the fence climb, the ditch jump. These all sound very fun.
Nope, stair window climb, dummy drag, handcuffing. But I will say this, though. If you've ever tried out to be on a program like American Ninja, you can do this job. Man or woman.
Exactly right.
You can do this job. And there are a couple of Oaklanders who've actually tried out and been on American Ninja. So if you know friends of those friends or anything, they can sign up for this position.
That's exactly right. And I would say too, by the way, just to mention, because I would be remiss to say that we also need more police dispatchers. So these are the individuals that are taking the 911, the incoming 911 calls. If, say, you're looking at this list and you're thinking, I am not, perhaps,
right.
Let's say your physical abilities are not at at the best, but you still want to contribute because we do need the help. I've been hearing, at least in some recent community engagement, that our 911 call times, the wait times, maybe ticking up again. I want to confirm that with data, but just anecdotally, I'm hearing at least 2 instances of that happening to constituents within the last couple of weeks, and we need more police dispatchers.
Yeah. And if there's your minimum qualifications, 21 years old at the time of graduating from a 6-month academy or older, high school graduate or GED, valid California driver's license. The councilmember mentioned most of this. No felony convictions or other convictions which would prevent carrying a gun. Citizenship, you must be a U.S. citizen or in the citizenship application process. And that's minimum. And then you apply for the job, written test, background, chief's interview, and there's a conditional offer for employment. Then there's the basic academy. Talk about
the academy. You also get paid. Actually, there's it's a paid program, so you get you actually as in what I'm trying to communicate is basically if you are enrolled in the academy, you are actually going to get paid as an enrollee.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really a great incentive to have.
It is. So, it's also, I will say, not everyone who applies gets in, but we want and we need more and more people to apply. We really do, because we are seeing fewer and fewer applicants as the years goes. For this most recent police academy, we had 26 officers. One of my other goals too is we need to have more people from Oakland that are enrolling into these academies. I really want to, through this speaking tour, to inspire Oaklanders to, we can't just all be looking at this level of crime and saying, why can't the police department be better? Why do we have all this crime? We all need to be part of the solution.
Right.
That includes enrolling into the police force. And I would say too, my district is also this hotspot of sex trafficking. And what's been clear to me after some discussions with the DA, with our Sergeant Campos, who heads the sex trafficking unit, as well as Dr. Joshi, who heads up our Department of Violence Prevention, is one of the key things we really need to combat sex trafficking here in Oakland is police officers who are women. And they are really key because, especially in doing undercover operations that would actually apprehend those who are the traffickers and those who are purchasing the sex. So these are Johns. You really need women to be in those roles. When you have officers that are men that are doing the undercover operations, it doesn't, you're not, if you can imagine just how one would carry out those undercover operations, you're not getting the demographic that we're talking about. We want to crack down on the pimps and the Johns, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
So we need more women to be also enrolling into the police force.
Oh, something else I'd like to emphasize. We're talking about the physical aspect of the job. Something
Yeah.
that isn't told to women trying out for the forces, and I won't say this, make sure that you can bench press at least 140 pounds. And if you're thinking about, hey, where do I need to be? That's really a rule of thumb for men and women, but no one ever says to a woman, hey, here's where you need to be. It's always, well, gee, I'm not strong enough. Well, you can get strong enough. You can
Yeah,
you
that's
can
right.
get strong. I mean, and I'm a big fan of women bodybuilders. I have a lot of friends in the fitness community around the country. You can do it. So it's don't let that stop you. Just say, I'm trying to train for this, and it's a benchmark, right?
Right.
So 140-pound bench press is an objective to meet. That'll really help you out and everything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Zennie. And I wanted to share a little bit, just a point of privilege as to why I care about this so much. And part of this speaking tour is really to also share some of the stories of what our officers are doing. I think, of course, I absolutely condemn police brutality, but we also have officers that are doing heroic work. I was at the award ceremony. We had an officer that recently jumped into the lake and saved somebody who was drowning in Lake Merritt. We had an officer that intervened into a domestic violence incident, and it's actually because I don't share this very often, but because I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself, my neighbors had called the police on my behalf, and it's thanks to them that the officers showed up. And it was really it was an intervention that I needed. I can, like, that might have actually saved my life, to be honest. And so it's these things that I don't think get spoken about enough around actually the importance of policing. And I remember later, actually, I was living in DC, and my neighbor was a woman, a black woman actually, and she was also, clearly I could hear through the walls that she was also in a very she was in domestic violence. It was a very violent relationship. And I think because it was in the height of George Floyd, in the wake of that, I initially I tried, like, calling for resources that were not the police, because I wanted to avoid calling the police. I didn't know if there would be some sort of unintended disastrous consequence. I was thinking about all the worst of policing, and so I delayed calling the police. But there was one night when I was just hearing what was happening in the walls, I thought, I cannot stand for this. This is she may die. I need to call the police. And I called the police, and it ended, it resolved the issue. I never heard after that any issue. And I regret that. I think, we should obviously take things like what happened to George Floyd extremely seriously, and all the issues that we have with policing. But I also realize that because of kind of the hysteria too, I also had not intervened on my neighbor's behalf as my neighbors had done for me as early as I should have. And I think, it's important for us to have a balanced view of both policing when it's, there's policing at its worst, and there's also policing when it really is, saving people's lives, and it's necessary.
I think if I can add something to that, it's very important, in my view, my experience,
Yeah.
and I'll share why, to hold each officer to their job. So if you call a police officer, you have the right to expect that they're going to do their job appropriately, with respect to the public, and with respect to the public. And I say that's a deliberate double entendre, because, for example, I had driven some friends on his way back in 2006. Was Women in Sports Events. This is a great event. Had this great event, Giants game, and my friends got a little schnockered, and I was the designated driver. I had maybe 1 or 2 beers, right? 1 or 2. So was driving. I drove all of them back home. I went to the Balboa Cafe. Had 1 beer with local supervisor, and it's on my way back on the Bay Bridge. And as I was headed back, this is when the Bay Bridge was under construction. So I went on the Bryan side, and I looked over, and it looked like Godzilla taking out the bridge. And I went, holy, and I actually hit this guy in front of me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, man. And I was only going like 8 miles per hour, right?
Oh,
so
that's good. Yeah.
Right. So we stop our car, and the guy says, I think I need to call the police and file a report. I said, okay, fine. Didn't even occur to me not to, right? Call the police. The police like breathalyzing me, and because I said fine, okay. And he goes, oh, nothing came up. And then the second time he goes, nothing came up. Then the third time, council member does this, like that. Yes. And then, okay, now you're over the limit. I thought, seriously? So I got Bill Dubois was my attorney. He's since died, famous attorney. Got that reduced to a wet reckless. And then the second time, I was thinking, like the same year, I thought, completely bizarre. Guys chasing me on the bridge. I don't know why. I mean, he's like doing this. I'm doing this. I realize I'm being chased. So I'm over to the police on the bridge, and I'm flagging them like, get this guy. Okay, get this guy.
Right.
And instead of that guy goes, they stay with me. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. So I get off, and they flash the lights. And I say, yeah, officer, I was trying to flag you down and everything. He goes, don't worry, when I get you out of here, just put your hands up. And I realized they're going to arrest me. And so I'm like this, and tears started going down my eyes. He goes, oh, you're going to do that, huh? He picked my entire body up and threw me on the hood of his squad car.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we had him come to court twice. My point is, you get him to do that. Like I was trying to get him to help me, right?
Right.
So you're right in having that fear because you have some cuckoos out there, but when they're cuckoos, report them. For God's sake, you know what I'm saying? For God's sake, I think about that now, and it's like I don't get nightmares. I just mad all the time. It's like I'm
so sorry, Zennie.
Well, it's hey, look, the late Jeff Adachi told me he listened. It's all over now. Everybody knows about it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, don't be afraid to call. That's my point.
Right.
Do I still call the police? No. Yeah. Do I call them to find my sister in Las Vegas? Yeah. Do they find her? Yeah. Call them. Make them do the job. But then if they don't, come on my show and talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about it, right?
That's right.
Hey, let me ask you on that note.
Okay. Yes.
What can common citizens do to encourage a better police force? Because I've never had that conversation with anyone.
Right. Well, I would say actually probably the key thing, and actually before I answer that question, by the way, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention.
Sure.
Part of my, just something that I did want to mention around some things that I've learned. I did a ride along. I've been doing a few ride alongs with our force just to understand, what they're looking at when they do their job. And one thing that, again, I think speaks to, I think people have the best of intentions, but I do think it is problematic where the officer I was riding along with said that, look, so they don't always have the building codes for an apartment building, for example. That is something absolutely I want to help systemically fix. But they don't have it. So they've had to respond to buildings where, again, it's just, especially as someone who's had this history of domestic violence, a lot of those calls are probably related to domestic violence if they're going to an apartment building where their neighbors are not allowing the police to come in. And I do find that very frustrating because you don't know what's going on. Don't make assumptions. And if you're blocking the police, that's a problem. You could be preventing a woman or a man, let me not even assume the gender of the individual, may need help, but people are actually blocking the police from doing their job. Now, if you feel like you need to watch them and see if they're going to carry out something, now that is perfectly fine, but don't prevent the police from being able to do that, do their
Right.
job. That is just unacceptable when you don't know the context by which a 911 call has been issued.
Yeah,
So
well said.
I was appalled to hear that, to be honest. And again, it's just, I think people just need to have a more measured view of you. Just because a police officer has showed up doesn't mean that what's going to happen is police brutality. Sure,
Right.
definitely monitor. We should all be looking at our police department to make sure they don't do that. They don't do that, but also don't prevent them. Don't block their way when you have no idea the reason why they've been called. Somebody called, and they may need help, and that is really unacceptable for our residents to do that to each other. In I hate to say it, they have probably the best of intentions, but it's totally misdirected.
Hey, it just gives me an idea.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have a number to call specifically that only works with the police brutality as it's happening. In other words, if someone sees it and they can take a picture of it as it's happening, and then they would have to respond or could respond, and then send it, say, maybe like an 811 number, 812 or something like that. Has anyone talked about that? Because we always talk about police
Yeah.
brutality after the fact, right?
So, as I understand it, our supervisory officers are actually required, once you file a complaint, that they need to respond to that within 30 minutes, actually. And so I don't have the number offhand, but certainly if individuals see that, yes, absolutely. If you see problematic behavior, report that in. And so the supervise, I think, anyways, I'm still learning about the different kind of the hierarchy within the police department. The office, whoever is next in rank, who's overseeing the officer that you've called in about, somebody can take the report around the complaint, or if since it's a 30-minute, hopefully they can respond in enough time that that it won't escalate. But
I was thinking more like, here's a visual. You ever see Superman with Christopher Reeve?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's flying and he's about to change the time of the world, and his father comes out. There's a guy's like, "Don't." Things. It would be great to have an electronic something that says to the police officer, "We can see you. This is OPD oversight. Stop what you're doing right now. Don't do it like that." Right? And it would be rare that they would have like a specific set of instances where they can do it, but I think we have the technology to do that now.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Our officers definitely wear body cameras all the time, so there is that, and I don't know, something to certainly to look into. And then just to answer your question, we have a police commission, and so I think that is really the civilian body by which civilians should engage to look at our look at oversight.
Because those body cams are not live stream. Imagine if they were. Because how many people are doing live streams now to do bad things? You can saw police officers with a live stream showing the police officer doing good things, but then also it's a good way to monitor what the police officer is doing as they're doing it. Because some people get in, maybe they think they're kings. Maybe it's a training day situation. We have a police officer that's rogue.
Right.
In another case, you wouldn't see it, but now you can pick it up right off the bat. You don't have to fire the person, but you can stop them from harming themselves and the rest of us. Just an idea.
It's an idea. I think something just anyways. Something to look into. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna write about that. I just thought about that off the cuff. So yeah.
Sounds good. Well, that's
but it's your idea. It's your idea because you did. It's your idea. I'm giving it to you. It's your
idea. No. You don't need
yes.
credit to me on that idea. But I think these conversations are important because they do inspire ideas of, why haven't we done that?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you like to add something else regarding the recruitment tomorrow? You're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there. It's the one of many talks that we're going to be having just all across Oakland. Again, my focus has always been on community policing. I think we need to have more people from Oakland, and to also reflect the diversity of our community. You know, we need more Black officers, Latino officers. I think one thing I had talked about, I just noting the requirements, it still has the requirement around citizenship. Meanwhile, at the state level, we are now allowed to, as municipalities, due to the recent change in state law, we can actually hire deferred action childhood arrivals. So individuals who've essentially been here since childhood and still do not have their citizenship. And so we need to make some of those changes because we will all benefit, especially given the severe staffing shortage that we have.
No. Councilmember, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is your time, though. We can go anything else you want to do, but
I don't have anything else. So that's the main thing. And thank you so much, Zennie, for having me on.
you got it. And tell them how they can contact your office, by the way.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, contact my office. It's District 2 at oaklandca.gov. I can put that in the chat.
Okay, cool.
And I think, we're doing this particular series with the NAACP, but any other organization that has these kind of speaking opportunities in front of young people, please reach out. Would love to partner. We're looking to, partner with LGBT organizations to get more LGBTQ individuals into the force. With Samuel Merritt University coming online with this social work program, we're going to be speaking with those students at some point as well. We really want to cast the broad net, think about ways where, especially since this has always been my theory, which is that the young person who in this day and age is most likely, like the least likely person to want to enroll into law enforcement, may actually be the person that we need to enroll into law enforcement, right? It's someone who doesn't want to go into law enforcement for the intent of being able to abuse their power, but they want to go into law enforcement, or they are inspired to say, maybe they hadn't ever thought about it, but they were inspired to go into law enforcement because it's a way to help their fellow citizens and really serve as a just but measured protector. And that's what we need. I've met people now at OPD who, there was a former nursing student. She really wanted to be a nurse. She wasn't cut out for the science. She told me it was just too much science. So she thought, how else can I help people? And so she decided to go ahead and try policing. I've met like a former teacher on the police force. It's like, I think people don't realize that what really makes up for a good police force is people who are ultimately oriented in social services and want to help people.
Well said. That's
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You gotta come back. Don't be a stranger.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Thank you, Zennie.
In the background, don't move a muscle.
Okay.
All right. Hey, folks, that ends this broadcast. We'll be back with more later. Thank you, and please subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark Oakland News Online, newly redesigned, and ZennieReport.com among our other platforms.